Imagine 5 years into your marriage. The marriage is great, the kids are great, your career is going great, and there's a knock at the door. A knock at the door that could mess up everything. A knock at the door that could tear down the very foundation of everything that you've built. The knock at the door was my past sins coming back to haunt me. That knock at the door could have ended everything.
Are you David?
Yes, sir.
I'm Deputy Gage, Bastrop County District Attorney's Office, Child Support Division. You're being sued for child support. Consider yourself served.
Child support? Are you serious?
Yes, sir, I am very serious. You take care.
Hey. What's wrong?
I'm sorry.
Child support. So you have another baby by another woman?
This was before we got married, please.
Don't touch me. I've already accepted one child and now you expect me to accept another?
Please.
I'm not doing this. I can't do this anymore. No.
Can't forget the day that I sat you down at the table, had to tell you something so bad that might break you. And it tore my heart just to see you cry out to me, yeah. You needed some time to breathe, yeah. I remember when you couldn't say nothing, just sat there, never said nothing. Tears streaming, baby, say something. You took me by my hands and said, please pray with me, yeah. She looked at me and said, how could this be, yeah. She cried out, I love you. She cried out, mumbled out, how could you? I never thought of all things that you would've be the one to go out and play me. See, you were my king, I was your lady. That's what she said to me. Oh, she said I hurt my family. I told her that I'll make it right. I said to her, if you leave, I'll die. She said to me, you messed up. I said, I know that. I'm feeling less than a man, cold hard facts. She said, I got a right mind to leave ya, but the truth is I need ya to help me raise this family, yeah. I said to her, I'll be faithful if you you'll stay, baby. Promise you'll stay. Through it all, we can be great. Give my all, whatever it takes. Promise you'll stay forever, my lady. Don't go away. You could have took off and left me, yet you stayed and forgave me. After what I just told you, you could have left me, girl, but instead you said, I love you. You could have left me, baby. I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, baby. I love you. Hey, you could have left me, but you showed me that you love me back. You could have left me. Oh.
Wow, that was such a deep video. Good evening, everyone. Hey, babe.
You believe me.
Oh,
You love. You can let me. And can I go falsetto? Can I go falsetto? You could have let
no. Stick to your Sunday job, sir. Stick to your Sunday job. Listen,
me. Good
everybody.
evening, everyone.
Welcome to That So Johnson podcast. Listen, it was last week, right? We did the Valentine's check-in.
Yeah.
And from that, we had good response and we felt good about it. So we decided to, why not just do a podcast? And we came up with a couple of names, but I believe, who came up with this name? Was it Aaron?
I think it was the producer. I think the guy's name is Aaron Johnson. I
Okay,
think so.
yeah. Okay. So Aaron
I'm trying not to get fired on the first day, ma'am.
Okay.
Trying to keep this job.
Producer Aaron Johnson came up with the name That's So Johnson podcast. So, hey, we're going to be here hanging out on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night at 7:30. So, listen, before we go any further, I need everyone to go like the Facebook fan page. And the reason I need you to do that, because once a month, we're going to send someone to breakfast on us, but they have to follow the fan page. So once
You gonna do what? We gonna do what?
We're going to cash out them some money
To
go to breakfast on us.
Catfish and grits.
However they roll.
Group of fingers and cum.
Whatever they do.
Red velvet waffle.
So
Sausage and bacon.
yes. And
Oh, Lord have mercy.
to go and like our YouTube page. So everything is That So Johnson on YouTube as well as Facebook. So make sure that you go like the page, because we're going to be randomly selecting people, hitting you up. Hey, the Johnsons is sending you to breakfast, and we're going to cash out you some cash, some ching ching to go to breakfast. Babe, who's on your feed on your wall? I'm gonna shout out a couple of people while you look. I want to shout out.
I can't see right now because I got my tablet set up for something else. But you know what? Before you shout the people out, I have to get this off my chest, because if I didn't say this, you know, it would be bothering me, and then I ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight. And you know, I got to have a guilt-free conscience.
Okay.
I just want to tell you, if I didn't know your husband, I'd try to holler at you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 'cause you looking good, girl.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm trying something different with this blonde hair. You know, I usually do this color, but
yeah, you about to bring out the Reverend Lonnie Love out of me. Yeah.
You get it started already. You got jokes already. You got jokes already. Let me shout out everybody that's watching us tonight. Hey, Sister Valerie, thank you for tuning in. God bless you, Minister Tracy. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Yolanda, thank you for tuning in. Minister Shanika, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for tuning in. Let me go over to your wall. And those that's watching us, please reshare this to your wall tonight. We're talking about blended families. So this is a good hot topic. Neva, thank you for tuning in. Natasha, Sandra, thank you for tuning in. Did I miss anybody? Just say I'm here so I can give you a shout out. We have 2 segments that we're gonna jump into before we get into our topic. If you're just tuning in, we need everybody to go like the Facebook page as well as subscribe to the YouTube page, because once a month we're sending somebody to breakfast on the Johnsons. So we're gonna cash up you some cash so that you can have breakfast on us. Okay, the first part of our podcast, we came up with, these 2 little ideas because we wanted to do something different. So the first part of our podcast is called Sip the Good News. So we know that a lot of times we ask for the tea. So we're not gossiping because we're not about that life. We don't gossip and put people down. We like to build people up. So this part of our show is called Sip the Good News. So I'm gonna ask my honey, my baby daddy.
That would be I.
Okay, to give us the good news for tonight's podcast.
Okay, listen. The reason why this is called Sip the Good News is because we want to take our time and we want to properly give the flowers and give a pat on the back to this person in this segment. So I tell you what, on tonight is something on tonight that's really just blessed and touched my heart. Y'all know my son Aaron. He has a book called You're Never Too Young. Well, this segment tonight is You're Never Too Old. How about that? You're never too old. So watch this. A mom of 4 who started medical school in her 40s said it is never too late to follow your dreams.
Wow.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. It's never too late to follow y'all dreams, y'all. Where's all of my entrepreneurs, those that want to start your business, but you say, listen, I got one gray hair too many, I ain't gonna be able to do it? Not so. You're never too old. Listen, I hope this story just encourage you and bless you on the night. Listen to this. A young lady named Gore Panther, she thought about going to medical school. So this is the story behind You're Never Too Old. Gore Panther had thought about giving medical school a try back in 2007, but the young mom felt intimidated by the idea of taking the medical college admissions test, or the MCAT, which it is very known as, the lengthy standardized test needed for medical school admission. Instead, she pursued a doctorate and began researching cardiovascular genetics at Cleveland Clinic and serving as an assistant lecturer at Cleveland State University. Y'all see how she did that in her 40s, y'all? Watch this. Over the years, she saw how it was important for Black people to see Black physicians to address the justified mistrust they have about medicine. And we know, especially our brothers, we know we don't like going to the doctor. We don't like people playing around, giving us medication and stuff like that. So look, she decided to get in the gap and make sure that we see somebody that look like us that's going to help us make sure that we have better health. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Watch this. That could be me. She says she realized I might not be able to solve all problems, but sometimes seeing someone who looks like you gives you at least a foot in the door to maybe try to talk to people and give them information to potentially take better care of their health. To help Gore Panther overcome her fears of the MCAT, a coworker had her take a practice test with a condition. If she received a higher score than 500, she'll take the real test and apply to medical school. Sure enough, y'all. Sure enough, she passed the test, y'all. She surpassed that goal, took the actual MCAT and applied to and got accepted into a program that's a partnership, watch this, between Ohio University and Cleveland Clinic. This program allows students interested in family practice to obtain their medical school degree in 3 years. 43, y'all, and she in the dough. I say 43, y'all, she's in the dough. Gore Panther is on track to graduate in 2025. Can we just sip the tea on that?
Wow. That is
Gore
what's
Panther.
up.
That's what's up.
Can we put up our red hearts? Our signature for the show is the red hearts. Can we put up our red hearts for that mother of, you said a mother of 4?
Yes.
Mother of 4. What an awesome accomplishment. And guess what? 43 is still very young. Still very young. All right, so we're moving to the next segment. And the next segment is called Red Heart Highlights. Now, this is a segment where my honey bun and me, we look through social media. This is something random. We're going to choose different people every segment. They have no idea that we have admired them or we admire what they're doing and who they are. But I need everybody's help. So when I call the name, I need you to go and tag their name in this live and put some hearts. Okay, so I'm gonna need your help with that. So my red heart, babe, you ready for your red heart highlight? I'm gonna go first. My red heart highlight goes to someone by the name of Kenyatta S. Harris. Can you guys tag her? I'm gonna tag her right now as I talk. Her name is Kenyatta S. Harris.
I think I know her.
Yeah, I think you know her too.
Yeah, I think I've seen her on the golf course a couple of times with the Obamas.
Okay, can you guys just tag her? We want to blow her up so that when she opens up her Facebook, she's going to say, who is all these people highlighting me, tagging me? So the reason I chose to give her hearts is because Kenyatta S. Harris is a mother of 2 beautiful sons. She's an entrepreneur. She's a member of Oasis of Love Ministry up under the great leader, Dr. Iris J. Troy. I tagged her and I wanted to give her the phenomenal heart for being a phenomenal woman because she's always supporting everyone else. I always see her supporting her friends. She's always sending tags or resharing, what someone else is doing. And I thought that was just phenomenal as a woman to give affirmation to other women and to other people. I have seen her throughout the years just be a very, just a support to her mom. She's always pleasant. She's always loving. She's a beautiful person inside out. So today, Kenyatta, when you go back and see this video, can everybody just put some hearts up for Kenyatta, please? Tag her, Kenyatta at Kenyatta S. Harris. Can you just tag her? We just want you to continue the great work and continue to be a phenomenal woman. So I give you your hearts today. All right, babe. Who is your red heart highlight?
Okay. My red heart is going to somebody who has swag, drip. This person, you can always find this person. Wherever there's music, you will find him. He has sung with the best, traveled around the world, is a genuine brother, has been a genuine brother for years. Listen, anytime you need him, you can call on him. Mouthful of wisdom. Once again, I do say he has drip and swag. The only fault that I have with him is that I can't get him to leave his Miami mullets, but I'm praying on that. I'm hoping that, God allow him to come over to the Eagles den. But listen, my red heart goes out to Bishop James E. Wright. Can y'all please go tag, my as he called me, I'm his big little brother. So could you please go tag Bishop James E. Wright? And when y'all tag him, amen, put the lit drip emoji, because he got drip. My bishop got a dress code. Listen, he got swag, he got drip, but most of all, Bishop, amen, he can preach, he can teach. Bishop, he's an entrepreneur, he's a businessman, he's a world traveler, but most of all, foremost, he's a father. He's a daddy. He's a man of God, and most of all, he's my brother. So listen, I'm sending it out to Bishop James E. Wright. If I had a bass, I would play it. So I don't have a bass. I don't have a Hammond. I just be in awe the way he be playing sometime. And then just last week, I'm talking about, sung this song, toe it up through that bone on the stage after he got through with it. Wasn't nothing left. He shut it down, tore it up. When the smoke cleared, it was folks saying, "What am I doing with my life?" Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Bishop James is right. So, big brother, when you see this, know that I love you for real, for real, for real, for real.
All right, thank you guys. I want to thank everyone that's watching for tagging Kenyatta Harris and James E. Wright with the red hearts, because they are phenomenal people. Someone asked, how can they find us on YouTube? It's That's So Johnson on YouTube. So at this time, we have one sponsor for today's program, and then after that, we will be back talking about blended family.
Hey everyone, I hope you're as excited as I am for the Break Into the Industry webinar coming up in March, where I, as well as Erin Yvonne Johnson, will be sharing our stories and dropping gems about how to break into the industry and make an impact. For those of you who don't know, my name is Salfia Azance, and I am a writer. I am currently a writer's assistant on the Emmy-nominated sitcom The Miss Pat Show on BET. Aside from that, I started the first ever Black-owned pitch deck service, which quickly opened up a new market where creators such as yourself can start a side hustle while working on your award-winning script. In this webinar, I will not only be sharing my story of how I got to where I am, but I will also be sharing step-by-step on how to make a pitch deck worth sharing. And I will also briefly touch on other documents and materials you will need to package your story. By the time we're done, you will leave with actionable steps you can take to prepare yourself for breaking in. I hope to see you there.
Okay, awesome. We are back. We thank our sponsors, AAJP Films. And for those that's into writing, you want to learn how to write for television, you want to learn how to put together a professional pitch deck. Aaron and Soraya will be doing a webinar, so go over to his page for all of the information. Okay, tonight, let's get into it. Tonight, we're talking about blended families. Listen, everybody, invite somebody, someone that you know right now that has a blended family. They have blended families. Hit the share button, invite them, have them join the conversation. So tonight, babe, we just gonna jump straight into it. The first question tonight, and I need you guys also to ask us questions and answer, because we're going to go back and read your comments and answer your questions. But tonight is, what should the mentality of a couple coming together with children already be when they come together in a relationship or marriage? What should be their mentality?
Okay, so I guess you throwing that off on me?
I'm gonna just throw the bone at you, like, It's
Okay.
meat on it. You just go ahead and cut it up.
All right. Well, before, and I need to put this somebody put this in the chat so I have some receipts. Before prophetess. Can y'all put that in the chat? Put it in the chat so I have some receipts.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody.
Before prophetess. Can I get somebody if I just need to see one person put that in the chat, and then I can say what I want to say. Can somebody put in there before prophetess? Because see, I don't need her to have no lapse of memory and then come back and say, well, you ain't never see this thing got nothing to do with you. This is for you. You know, I don't see nobody yet, so I ain't saying nothing till I get me a receipt.
And she put in quotes.
Okay, so listen. Before prophetess, I was in a situation with a young lady, and basically we were we was living together. I wasn't there full time. I was there a few days out the week, and she had a son. So the thing being, I never had any kids until I married my wife. So of course, the young ladies that I'd encountered, they had kids. So the thing about it was, at the time, they still had to deal with the baby daddy. And that's one thing as me, as being a man, I never tried to come into a young lady's life and tell her that you can't have your baby daddy dealing with your with the child. I can't do that. That's not legal. You know, why would I try to keep a child? And see, the thing about it is, I was fortunate enough to be raised with both of my parents. So I knew what it was to have a man in the house. So, you know, my thing is that never try to keep another man from seeing his child. So basically, what the deal was that at first when he started seeing me come around, it was some pressure. I'm just being honest. It was some tension and pressure there.
What pressure?
Nah, I ain't bring the pressure. He brought the pressure. You know, it was like every time he came, he had an issue. You know, he wanted to get outside. You know, because when I was there, he was never allowed to come into the house. You know, that was a rule that she came up with, not me. You know, I guess because she ain't want, the tension. So, you know, he would be outside loud talking, and they'd get into a big old argument. And, you know, me and Jabbar, we'll be in there. You know, I'm talking to him, trying to distract him from worrying about where his mom at, because you could hear them outside. And, it went on from that. And then it took me to go to him one day, because they had got into a big old argument outside. So it took me to go outside. And I told her, I say, listen, let me talk to him. You go ahead and go on in the house. So, after I got his attention, and, because he was heated, so I had to get his attention. So after I got his attention as a man, I just began to tell him, I said, look, bro, I ain't trying to keep you from your child. I said, whatever you and her had, that's in the past. So you looking at the future right here. So my thing is, know that I'm never going to treat your child wrong. I'm going to treat your child like your child is mine. I'm going to spend on them. I'm going to make sure they eat. I'm going to make sure that they good. And when it come down to discipline, don't worry about it. I ain't going to put my hands on your child. I'm going to let her deal with him when it come to that. I never disrespect you like that. But at the same time, what we not finna do is come around here and you always want to act a monkey every time you come around here. We're not finna do that. So just on GP, he understood that. And at the end of the relationship, getting to the end of it, the middle of it, man, it was good. Even after me and her broke up, me and him used to go play pool together. So, you know, the thing about it is when you are talking about a blended family, when you coming in and you're going to be over somebody's child, you got to know that that child is yours. You got to treat that child like it's yours. You got to love that child like it's yours. You got to spend money on that child like it's yours. But if you come in there talking about all I'm worried about is the mama, the child ain't got nothing to do with me, you already in the depths.
Right. You know, and you know, with us, I didn't have kids before we got married. But however, I grew up in a blended family. My dad and his wife, my stepmom, my second mom. I grew up with I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, half siblings. So, and then my stepmom, she already had 2 daughters, which is my sister Kim and my sister Belinda. And we grew up together. Like, we really didn't look at it as like halves or anything like that because we had so much fun together. We was just family. You know, those are my sisters. And you know, Sean is my brother. And my stepmom, she always treated, you know, me and my sister, you know, like her daughters, you know. So I think it's important that, you know, when it comes to blended families, that one parent doesn't make the child or children feel funny or feel uncomfortable. Like, it should be fair. If I bring home food, I shouldn't just bring home food for my biological child. You know, I need to feed all the kids. You know, if I buy a gift, I shouldn't just buy a gift for just my blood children. I should be buying gifts for everybody, because when, you know, there's all kinds of families. And, you know, in order for the family to be strong, we have to kind of kill that division at the beginning. I want to go to some of the comments. Hey, Apostle Glenn. Apostle Glenn is on here.
Oh, Apostle Glenn,
He put establish a friendship with the child or children, hear their input about dating their parents. Yes, communication is very important. And now that's something that I think that most families really don't do too often, especially in a blended situation. They don't really sit down and just get the view of the child, you know, or how they feel. And I want to say this. What if, and maybe you can answer this, babe. What if one of the children or the child is not feeling the new parent? You know, how do that parent or the parents, how do they handle that? Because you may have a child that come into this, oh, that's not my daddy, you're not my mama. You know, how do the parents really deal with the kid that's still trying to adjust that my mom and my dad is not together?
Okay. First of all, nobody likes change. Nobody. Unless it's positive change, but nobody likes change. When you're coming into a blended family situation, you have to give that child time to warm up to you. I don't care, you know, you can't force yourself on somebody, just like in a relationship. You remember when I told you that, you know, I wanted to holler, and you told me I got a man. You know, I couldn't force myself on you. I couldn't force a relationship on you. So it is with a child. When you come in with a child, you can't force a relationship on the child. The child got to warm up to you. First of all, you got to understand the mama or the daddy is all the child know.
Right.
I don't know you. I don't know you from a can of paint. Now you coming in now. I see you with my mama. I see you smiling. You over eating the collard greens, the yams, the cornbread, eating up all the oxtails. Yeah, and the Kool-Aid. I see you taking us to the movie and stuff like that. But that don't mean I got to like you. And that's that child right. So, you know, you have to give the child time. You have to build a relationship with the child. And then where a lot of people go wrong, watch this. Where a lot of people go wrong, you just want to deal with the mama or the daddy, and you say skip the child. Child ain't got nothing to do with it. They got a mama and daddy. No, that's wrong.
That's wrong, right?
That's wrong. And then let me show you. Here comes the number one dysfunctional. Here comes the number one dysfunctional issue in blended families: favorites.
Favorites. Wow. Can everybody post no favorites? Can y'all post no favorites? Everybody that's watching.
And I wish we had. I'm about to talk to our producer. I need some sound effects. That part right there, it should have been a. We need some sound effects, you know, because in blended families, sometimes you have the number one dysfunctional issue, favoritism. Oh, I favor my biological child over your child.
Yeah.
No, that's dysfunctional. Because if we're together as a family, I got to love all your kids. I got to love all our kids.
Right.
It ain't no my child, your child. It's our child. And 90% of the time in blended families, that's where we go wrong at with the favoritism. And the favoritism is not all the ways, not all the time said, but it's always seen in how you move and operate concerning the kids.
Right.
Hold on. I gotta make my own sound effect. Hello, producer. Hello, I need some sound effects.
You is a mess. Listen, let me go over some of these comments real quick. Kenyatta, hi Kenyatta. Kenyatta, you received the red heart today, so you got to go back and watch the entire podcast so you can see and hear all of the great things that was said.
See, I can't see on my side. Is Kenyatta there? Hello, sister. What's up, my sis? I can't see on this side.
She put, my mom treated my siblings like they were hers even after she and my father worked together. That's exactly how it should be. Sandra Graves put, you have to have an understanding and where you are heading together. Let the man or woman know that you both on the same page with the children. That's important. Instead of trying to argue about something, you need to be able to show the children that they are all equal. Nobody is better than anybody. Exactly. I agree 100%. I'm going to read one more from hi, Mother Humphreys. She put, yes, I agree with you about being able to treat all the children the same. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And
you know what? You know what? Let me just talk from experience, from what I've seen. I've seen a couple of people that I know. They get into an argument. The child is present in the house.
Right.
And you tearing the child mama or daddy down.
Right.
And the child hit her.
Right.
So now you done talk bad about the child mama and daddy, and now you think the child gonna vibe with you. No, they not finna vibe with you because in their mind, you done talked about my mama.
Right.
And you know back in the day, you would get fire slapped when you talking about somebody mama.
And especially a boy child, if it's especially because a boy child, they come to their mom's defense. They're like little men, and they feel like they have to, protect their mom.
But you know what? Let me say this. And I want to say hello to, hey, what's up, fam? I see my fam on the line. I see Victoria on the line. That's my fam right there, y'all. Listen. Let me say this. And this real talk. It take a real man and a real woman to deal with a blended family.
Exactly. I agree.
Cause you can't get no little boy to try to do a man's job, and you can't get no little girl to do a woman's job. It takes a real mature man and a real mature woman to
Right.
deal with a blended family. Because watch this, all your moves have to be on a mature level. You can't be petty.
Right.
Come on, you can't be petty, Betty, and you want to get on the child level, and you want to get on, and then we're saying child. Some of the blended families, they have teenagers.
Right. Right.
They got teenagers, so that's a whole nother cookie by itself when you got to deal with a blended family that has teenagers, because one, they got their own personality. Two, you just not showing up. Three, I've been here. You just not showing up. You just not getting here. Four, I know who my mama and who my daddy is. I love them.
Right.
Five, you're not gonna replace my mama and my daddy. And the worst thing you could ever do in a blended family is try to come in and tear that man or that woman down and think that's gonna get you some brownie points with that child or that teenager. Oh boy, you done lost your mind.
And you can't have the mentality of that's not my child anyway. Something that you're saying is just kind of bringing up a question that I wrote down is what's the best way to handle a disagreement with the blended family? First of all, that husband and that wife or that couple, they need to first talk amongst themselves on how they're going to approach the situation. And then after they talk amongst themselves, then they bring it to that child or that teenager and say, okay, this is what we came up with. Because if it's a situation where a child, just let's use an example of maybe you have a teenager that want to go to a party. Maybe the mom is saying okay and the dad is saying no, they staying home. So it's better that the parents go in another room quietly, no yelling and arguing and all of that stuff and being unseemly. Because what happens, like you said, once that child gets just the clue that, hey, it's division in the house, they're going to automatically play sides. They're going to play the mother or father.
But listen,
Mm-hmm.
listen, babe. Let me be clear.
Yes.
Whether it be a blended family or it not be a blended family, a child is always gonna try to play the two against each other so they can get what they want. Come on, I done did it. You done did it. Come on, we got people on the live that done did it. Come
Yeah,
on,
but not even blended. Your own children do that too. So
yeah, listen. That is just a tool in the tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we be blended, whether we be family, whether we be distant cousins, because you have a lot of people that take care of family. Listen, that is a tool in the tool belt that's gonna be used regardless.
Right.
So
So it's best that the couple, they discuss, the plan of action amongst themselves first, and then bring it to the family, and that way they're on one accord. Because if you just openly talking about and then one say, okay, I don't agree with this, then now there's a big loophole here for confusion to come in. So I think the best way to do it, as much as you can, is to try and be on one accord first before you even talk to the child, or the teen. Try and at least have a middle or some understanding, because you may not even, I want to say this, because you may not all the way agree, because everybody was raised different. Like, babe, you was raised with your mom and dad, all the way up to being a grown man. I came from a single parent family, but my dad was very much in my life because I was able to go over to my dad's house and be with my other sisters. So I pretty much have like the best of both worlds in a sense. But there are people that was raised differently. So the thing is that when you're raised differently, you have to keep in mind that there has to be some give and take. It can't be your way all the time or my way all time, because what you think may be different from what I think, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong way either.
Okay, so I tell you what, let me flip a coin right quick, and
Mm-hmm.
let me take us down the dark side right quick,
Okay.
cause right now we in the field of lilies. But let me go down the dark side right quick. What if you have a child,
Mm-hmm.
a teenager,
Okay.
a kid? I'm just covering all the bases, and you have the significant other doing everything that they can,
Mm-hmm.
but now you got a Chucky and a Megan on your hand.
Okay.
So now, watch this. You got a Chucky or a Megan on your hand, and that parent believe everything that child say.
Okay. Now that's a good question.
No. I put that out there because I want somebody in the chat to answer that. I want to see how they feel. I want to see how y'all feel tonight.
So
I'm checking the temperature.
So the question is to everyone that's watching us tonight: how do you handle a situation when the parent is doing all the things right, but the child is still causing confusion in the relationship?
No, you missed the key. You missed the key part. Not the child causing problems in a relationship. That child biological parent believe everything that Chucky and Megan is saying.
Okay.
What you do then?
So what do you do when the biological parent, the blood parent, believes everything that the child is saying because that's their blood child over the spouse? So how do that person, how what do they supposed to do? How do they react to that? So I'm gonna wait.
Listen, I know some horror stories. That's the reason why I asked that question.
So I'm gonna wait and see if we get some people to comment on that. But you know what? That's something to think about, because a lot of marriages honestly end up in divorce, honestly, by their own kid. Um, it's I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Because you have some kids that may never, I don't care how good of a parent or step parent that you are, that child may never ever just accept the fact that their mom and dad is not together. And it may just be something that child just maybe need therapy or just need more time. But do that new marriage or that new relationship, should that suffer because of that child? Okay, let's see what somebody is saying. Let's see. Did anybody answer? I guess they're still typing or even thinking about it. That was a hot question. While they're talking about it and thinking about it, I want to also put this out there, babe. Some of the do's and don'ts. I want to say this: if it's a female child and they're in a blended family, that woman of that house, she should be like, say the father had the daughter and they came into the relationship, that woman should be taking that daughter and nurturing her just like it was her blood child. So that means I should be teaching her how to cook, I should be teaching her how to clean, I should be teaching her all of the things, teaching her about her body, herself, the changes that her body is going through. I have to have that relationship with her. I can't just say, oh, that's up to your mama. No, once she come here, I'm doing the reinforcement. I'm not trying to be your mom, but let me show you this, let me show you that.
Okay, but watch this. What if her mom is a Patty Betty? I don't need you teaching my child how to cook your nasty food. I don't need you to be trying to teach my child to do nothing. That's what I got mama for. You're not gonna replace me, baby. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here. I laid on the table for 18 hours, 35 minutes. So you're not gonna do. What you gonna do about that?
But you know what? Unfortunately, just like you said at the very beginning, it takes mature people to navigate a blended family relationship, and that's on both sides. You know, if you have one, because honestly, you have some fathers and mothers that just didn't get over their ex. I'm just being honest. And because they're not over their ex, if I can't be with you, can't nobody else have you, and I'm gonna make your life absolutely miserable. And you
Yeah.
know, we have seen that time and time and time that they have I have 18 years to make you miserable because I really haven't gotten over you. Mother Humphreys answered your question. She put, then you will have to take this situation to God because this is a spiritual attack against the marriage. And I totally agree with that because there's some things, and I'm being honest, after you done all you can in the natural, you know, you're that person in the natural. Now you're gonna have to seek God on some things and for God to handle some things and work things out because it is an attack on the marriage. And guess what? Remember, the enemy, he'll use any situation, any person. So and also I would suggest too, maybe the entire family needs to go to counseling. The entire family, outside of the
Well,
counseling, the physical counseling as well.
what you said, a physical chop to the throat. I hear what you said.
I did
Hello?
not say nothing
Hello?
about
Hello? Hello? We have a communication problem. Hello? You said a physical chop to the throat? Yeah.
So maybe the entire family. And I want to say this, especially in our community. I'm just being honest. A lot of times our community, when I'm saying our community, the Black community, we don't really believe in therapy, family therapy. And it's so important. A lot of times we think that it's just a waste of time, or we can, you know, just pray about it or cast out the spirit. But after you did the spiritual part, you still got to do the natural part. And it is good sometimes to go to family therapy because, you know, families, it doesn't come with a manual. You don't get a book and say, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. It's on the job training because every family and every situation is different. And as a community, we need to really stop putting stuff up under the rug because you have so many Black people, I'm being honest, 50, 60, 70, 40, 30, still traumatized by their childhood, still traumatized by what happened after their mom and dad divorced. See, when you go through that divorce, you just thinking about, I got to get away from this Negro. I got to get away from this nigga. I'm just being honest. But you never sit down and think about the trauma that the child that you both created have to experience. And because young
But
people,
but
they can't express themselves like adults, they just got to cope with it the best they know how.
okay, but look, I get what you're saying, prophetess, but then we got to get past the number one mantra in a Black family.
Right?
What goes on in this house
Yeah.
stays in this house.
Yes, that's
You
not
don't go tell my business. You don't go tell our business nowhere. And see, that'll get you a chop to the throat for real, for real. You go take mama or take daddy business outside the house. So we can't sit down on the couch and talk to nobody because we terrified about what's gonna happen if we open up our mouth and say what's going on behind closed doors.
Now that is the truth. That's the truth. We all grew up with that. You know, you bet not tell what goes on in the family. And unfortunately, because we grew up with that, so many people that's just really, they've been traumatized and they still dealing with stuff that happened so many years ago, dealing with the breakup of their parents. You know, you have and it's like a cycle. You know, they watch their parents go through, then they get married, and they repeat the cycle because, like you said, you can't talk about it. Andrew, hey Andrew put pray, get help, counseling, fast and pray, and if it continues to keep happening, then it's time to decide if you want to stay with that child or your marriage. Choose ye this day. I got to laugh. You know, those that know Andrew, you know, he's a comedian. Okay, I want to move to another question. What's the best way to discipline? Well, did we cover that? To discipline
Yeah,
a child?
yeah.
Not your blood child? Okay, you guys
Yeah.
have a question? I need you guys to post it right now. You guys have a question? Do you have a question? We're talking about blended families on tonight. Blended families on tonight. Let me ask you this. What if the family or the person um has experienced, what if you have a parent, let's take a mom, and she has a daughter and a son, or however her dynamics is, but her family has turned over twice. So maybe the original marriage didn't work, and then she remarried again and it didn't work. What advice would you give to the child, Bay, in a situation like that?
Hmm.
So they're experiencing a blended situation multiple times.
Hmm. Well, let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna come from two avenues with this. I'm gonna
Okay.
come up first. I'm gonna come up first avenue with this one. This the second time the family then turned over twice.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question coming down First Avenue is, so how do this child now mentally and emotionally has to deal with the separation of the prior children that they made a bond with, but because mama or daddy ain't with they mama or daddy, now we can't have communication no more. That's a lot of trauma.
Right, right.
That's a lot of trauma. And one thing I found out in our culture is that we will pack trauma in a backpack and say we good.
Yeah, yeah. We don't
And then
process
we want and
hurt.
then we wonder why we keep attracting the same person.
Right.
We keep attracting the same situation. We keep and then we wondering why the kids are going, or the teenagers going cuckoo for cocoa puffs, and they angry and they ready to knock holes in walls and rip stuff apart. Why? Because they dealing with trauma that ain't never been
Yeah,
dealt.
yeah, yeah.
You talking about you the parent talking about me, but you got to understand that child is collateral damage.
Right, right, right. And going back to what I said, just to echo, and and we only have like 3 minutes. I mean, this segment went so fast. We got to bring this
Three
to a
minutes.
close. Three
3 minutes.
minutes.
Hello, producer. I can't see nothing on this side. Hello.
It went so fast, but
I
this is
need sound effects.
it's such a
Listen, we
good
need
topic.
3 minutes. Hello, producer. We need some sound effects.
I'm gonna make sure you get a bell. I'm gonna make sure you get a bell because you noisy. But just to sum it all up, for those that's watching, first we thank you for joining the conversation. We thank you for all of your input. We thank you for just pushing us to even do a show like this every Tuesday night on That's So Johnson at 7:30. We want you to meet us right here. We're going to be talking about family. We're going to be talking about love. We're going to talk about life, and we're going to talk about business. That's what this podcast is about.
Don't
But
forget them finances.
yes, yes, all of that is going to be wrapped in there. But I want to end and say this. If you are a family and your family is torn in so many pieces and there's so much of trauma that you have experienced, do not ignore it. Stop pushing it up on the rug. Get help for your family. After we pray, seek God, do the spiritual things, get some natural help. Go to counseling. Everybody go to counseling and try and do your best to save a generation, to save your family, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters is the family. You know, everything else is going to come and go, but it's your family that stands to last forever, that love, those memories, that bond, and you want to make every effort to preserve that. So with that being said, again, we thank you guys. We need everybody to go to our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page called That's So Johnson. Please subscribe. Go over to the Facebook page and like the page. We will be once a month sending someone random to breakfast on us. But in order to qualify, in order to get in the pool to be selected, you must be a follower of our page. You must be
Listen,
a follower of our page.
listen, I'm gonna let you know up front. Any Dolphin fan, you ain't winning jack. I am not feeding no Dolphin fan. You better be a Philadelphia Eagle fan. Listen, I'm not feeding no Dolphin fan. And if you went to Miami Jackson, you definitely ain't winning, okay? I'm not doing, listen, we're not doing none of that, okay?
You're going too far. Leave the green and gold out of that. Leave the green and gold out of that.
So listen.
Our Northwestern Bulls just don't know how to act. That's it. Leave it out of that. You married a general. You married a full-blooded green and gold general, baby.
You a hybrid.
No. All right, y'all. Listen, we're going to close out. That's going to be it. Thank you for tuning in. Can we see some hearts go up real quick before we go close the live? Can you, if you enjoyed the show tonight, please send us some red hearts real quick. Send us some red hearts. Send us some red hearts. And Bam, I'm gonna let you close us out. Okay, those hearts are going. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Remember, like, share, meet us again next week, 7:30. All right, babe, close us out.
Listen, we love that y'all came on the first edition of That's So Johnson podcast. I promise you, when I finish this, I'm going knocking on the producer's door. Listen, we need some sound effects. We need some music. We need some lot of stuff. You're not gonna have us out here like this. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, because we're getting ready to go. Just like the Miami Dolphins Super Bowl hopes, I'm out of here. I'll holler at y'all.